Well, let's start. Today's workshop is dedicated to creating product design portfolio in Notion, and I wanted to add more tips and details for middle plus designers, but if you're a junior designer, probably you will also find this workshop useful for you. So I will start with introducing myself. My name is Natalia Treskova. I'm senior product designer at Vivid Money. Vivid Money is a European neobank, which combines a lot of different features like daily banking, crypto, shopping, and a lot of different things. Previously, I used to work as a lead product designer at Alfa Bank. Alfa Bank is the biggest commercial Russian bank. And as a lead product designer, I used to participate in design hiring processes. So today I'm going to share you the tips from the perspectives both of designer who's looking for a new job and a lead product designer, a manager who is looking for other designers for his team. There are some essential moments. The session is recording. I've decided to record it for you and for myself to check whether some moments were good or bad. And after the session, I will send an email to you with this record, link to this record, and other links which you can also use while creating your portfolio. Second moment, please ask questions in chat. I will try to answer as many questions as I can at the end of the session. And last point, but probably the most important one, try to create your own templates. Our workshop will consist of two parts. First part, I will show you the presentation and we will talk about essential moments while you create your portfolio. And during second part, I will show you Notion and my own portfolio and other designers' portfolios, so you can be inspired and create your own templates for your own portfolio. If you haven't downloaded Notion yet, you can go to website notion.so and download it now. It looks like this, so Notion SO. Notion is an extremely powerful tool for creating different types of documents, and also it's a great tool for creating your portfolio. I will share the link in the chat now, so you can do it. It is absolutely free. There are some subscription plans, but probably you will not need them. So you can think about it as a free tool. And let's start. First of all, I would like to add a product approach to creating your product design portfolio. What I mean, you can suggest creating and updating your product design portfolio as a product task. So if it is a product task, what you will do? First of all, you have to understand who will see my portfolio. And there are various types of users who can do it. For example, HR managers, design leads, designers, product managers, project managers, and a lot of other roles depending on the company you are currently applying. And then after you understand who your users are, you will probably think about their user stories as for a regular product task. For example, as HR, I want to understand whether candidate has enough skills to send their portfolio to design lead. And the only instrument I can use for solving my problem is designer's portfolio. As design lead, I want to understand whether candidate has enough skills to solve successfully specific tasks. As designer, who participates in interview process, I want to understand whether a candidate will enjoy work with specific team to make work for all of us as comfortable as possible, and so on. And last question, very important one, actually, do all these people, do your users really have a lot of time to explore your portfolio? And the answer, no, they don't have much time. They have 10 or 15 minutes, and they want to understand as much as possible during these 10 to 15 minutes while exploring your portfolio. They want to solve their problems, to solve their user stories somehow. That's why it's very important to create a clear structure for your portfolio. And from my point of view, it's the most essential part of creating your portfolio. What do I mean? You have to think about several things. First of all, you have to decide what exactly do you want to show. If you apply at a company which is focused on UI, you should probably show more UI cases. If you want to apply at a company which is really focused on UX and researchers, you have to show these kinds of skills. Then you can create product design template for your cases description. We will talk about it in more details later, but here I can say that it's very important to create a structure for your cases before writing the content, before looking for this content. So you can start with creating the structure. And remember that this all is not about images and texts. It's all about storytelling. Your users, your portfolio reviewers, they don't know the company you used to work at, and that were not involved in your work process. They really don't know anything about your cases and your tasks. So you have to tell them about your task in the way they can understand whether they would like to communicate with you later or not. Don't be shy and tell about all your important work experiences, especially if you're a middle-class designer. You probably used to work with design systems. Maybe you contributed in your design system, and it's not a small contribution. So if you took part in any types of additional activities, write about it. Public talks, probably you provided some workshops or lectures. Probably these were workshops within your team or within your company, or maybe at big conferences. Talk about them, tell other people about them, because it becomes more and more important while you switch between grades. When you switch between middle and senior grade, it becomes more and more important to take part in various public activities. And it's better to think about it in advance. Then, if you participated in some kind of mentorships, or maybe you used to teach other designers at online courses, offline courses, also add these facts about you into your portfolio, and it will help you when you decide to switch to senior grade, to lead grade, and probably art direction, and kind of that. And also your articles, if you have written any articles at Medium or maybe other resources, you can also mention them, and it shows that you would like to contribute in a design community. So you don't only think about your own work, but you also think about other designers and community and want to make it better. And it's really good to talk about it. Don't be shy. Even if this article is small, maybe your public talk was small, it's worth mentioning about. Then another important point, that self-presentation is also very important. Again, don't be shy when you indicate your grade. It will help other people better understand your current ambitions. For example, I talked to a designer recently, and the designer has 6 years of experience in really nice product companies, but she was shy and she couldn't say that she is senior product designer. if you look at her experience from your side, you will understand that she's a senior product designer, and she really has to say it, because when design lead or HR looks at your portfolio, they need to know what kind of ambitions you have, what you will probably want to do in next 2 years, in 1 year, what tasks you would probably would like to take, what amount of responsibility you would like to take. So if you feel that you are switching between grades, don't be shy and write about yourself as a middle designer, as a senior designer, and so on. It will really help other people to understand better what you are going to do at your company. And if we talk about cases, I think that a very good idea is to first create clear structure template, and only after that prepare content, because you might have a lot of content about the task you are working on. And if you used to work within some task for several months, you have a lot of details, but you don't have to tell all these details inside your portfolio. So the structure I find short but very effective is first you describe the problem, then you describe the types of research you provided. After that, you show your ideas, probably some UI, UX ideas, some research ideas with the interface. If you have several iterations, you also talk about these several iterations. For example, if you created some layouts which were after tested by users and the users found them not very good for solving their problems, you can show second iterations where you fixed the problems which were found while providing the tests. And every case should end with a results section. So people who will look through your portfolio will understand that on first step you had a problem and you totally understand the problem. Then you provide some actions to solve the problem. And as a result, you solve the problem, or probably you don't solve the problem, but it is a kind of first iteration of solving the problem, but you still understand what's happening at the moment. And it's a great indicator of a mature product designer, when the product designer understands that every task is about solving the problem and getting some results to make a next step and to create next iterations. And now I will show you Notion portfolio examples and my portfolio example, and we'll create some Notion template for portfolios. First of all, I would like to recommend you exploring this Notion website. There are a lot of different resources and a lot of guides, tutorials, webinars, help center. It's really very powerful tool, and this company, they really care about their users, so you can find a lot of different helpful articles about Notion. Then they have a bunch of templates for different purposes, because Notion is used by a lot of companies, a lot of product companies, to create Kanban desks and some Scrum artifacts, and maybe brainstorms, design sprints, and so on. A lot of different things are currently maintained with Notion. And you can look for any kind of portfolios or any kind of layouts here, and you can really find something interesting. I'll share this link. I really recommend you exploring this website. And there are some examples of portfolios within Notion website. There are some examples I'll show you now, but as I already said, you can go later and explore this website yourself. There are a lot of different types of layouts inside Notion, and you can create a lot of different types of layouts with the help of them. This is an example of Portfolio, and as far as I remember, you can download it for free at Notion website. It looks like this. This is the entry part, a picture of the designer, some image, and a gallery with works of this designer. And then there's even some kind of interactive part with communicating with this designer. So you can create kind of code things. It's not code, it's not real code, but it imitates the work of code. Another example of Portfolio, it's again some image. Well, it looks like GIF, I suppose. There is an image of the designer or maybe it's not designer actually, yes. And this IT worker. And there are some facts about this guy. And there is a lot of decorative elements because this person wanted to put emphasis on some things, and you can also do it. And again, there is a gallery view with projects of this guy. And after that, there is a blog with certifications and achievements, and that it is what I was talking about. Don't be shy. Show that you have won somewhere, you have some public talks, you probably have some successful examinations, and so on. If you feel that it will help you to get a job, don't be shy, add it. It looks great, I think, and it's very helpful for HRs to indicate whether they would like to communicate with you later or not. There is also a very nice article in Medium about creating your portfolio in Notion, and there are a lot of details, some really small things, small tips for creating powerful layouts inside Notion. And I will also share this link, and I will send you this link later. The guy really did a great job while describing his work with Notion and creating layouts with Notion. It's a great job, and I think you will enjoy it if you decide to create your portfolio in Notion. So these are nice links, and you can explore it later. And now I will show you my portfolio and tell you why I decided to create it this way. Well, my portfolio looks like this. There are two types of work within this portfolio. These are my product tasks, which I call projects. And there are other activities. And if we start from the very beginning, at the beginning of the portfolio, there is my name. So when HR sees my portfolio, they quickly understand who this designer is. Maybe they know my name, and maybe they don't need to look for other information. Maybe they don't know, so it's easy to understand who this person is. Then this blog is also for HR managers, so they can understand that I am a senior product designer. They understand my grade. I've also listed companies I used to work at, so they can also understand whether they like these companies or not, whether they value them or not. And there is a line with my social networks links, Facebook, Instagram, and probably I have to add LinkedIn here. I don't know why I haven't done it yet. And there is a link to CV. It's also for HRs, because in some companies, HR need to download your CV inside their HRM programs. And only after that, they can ask you to take part in an interview. So it's also very good to create your CV one time and don't think about it, just enjoy. Then if we go back to the portfolio, you can see the project, and if we open this project, there is the same structure inside each project. There is a description of the company I used to work at. I've written this description because not everybody outside Russia knows what Alfa Bank is. Alfa Bank is a famous Russian bank, and everyone in Russia knows what Alfa Bank is, but in other countries, probably people don't know what it is. So if you work in some company in your country, and if you want to apply at a company in another country, it's better to write maybe 2 lines, several sentences about your workplace. Then when I describe my case, it is called catalog and counterparties, and I used to work in a bank for B2B. Sometimes it's very complicated processes, and people really wouldn't understand what's happening and what this task is about if they haven't worked for B2B. So I added quite a lot of details describing the problem. And this is the description. We had 5 problems with our team. And if you can describe your problem in this way, it would be also great. And there are some screens to show how it works and how it looks in real life. So when, for example, design lead looks from my portfolio, they will easily understand what's happening. And then after the problem description, the research part starts. During this research part, I just list all types of researches I have provided. For example, we had an old interface and we want to migrate users from old interface to new interface. So I showed old interface screens. Then we gathered some feedback from our users, and the feedback was provided by support team. So I showed this notion with feedback and some interesting feedbacks from our users. Then I wrote about statistics, and also I listed user stories. You can use job stories or maybe use cases, whatever you work with. And there is a scheme about data and actions. While we worked with the problem which we listed at the beginning, we decided to gather every piece of knowledge in one place inside one scheme, so every team member could understand what's happening. After that, I went to the part which is called interface here, and previously I was talking about ideas part, where I finally show iterations of creating layouts. So these are layouts, and these layouts were tested by users. And here I also showed a script which I tested the users with. And after that, the results are listed. And I also showed what actually changed after this testing. So my portfolio reviewers would understand that I got some results after tests, and I used them to improve my interfaces. After that, I described some details. So the people who review my portfolio would understand that I paid attention to details, and I didn't just show a bunch of layouts. I wanted to show them some details they would definitely understand without B2B background and without any bank background. And then there are some other screens, other parts, and we also had mobile app screens for the same feature. And there is a block with results. we had an estimated financial effect of implementing this feature, and we had some conversion, and also we had some conclusions we have made after this task. For example, this task was an excellent example of how important it is to keep the process in mind first and only after data screens. So you can also list not only the numbers and not only the metrics, but probably some conclusions which you could make after solving these problems. So this is the example of a case, and other cases they look like this. So they have the same structure. They have problem, the first step, then research, and all types of researches. Then there is the interface part, and the last part is results. And when I was creating this portfolio, I started from creating the structure for all the cases, and then I tried to find content for each of these parts. Next part, next gallery view, it is called Our Activities. And as I'm a senior product designer and I used to be a lead product designer, I wanted to show that I don't only work with product teams, but I have some other activities. So I took part in a conference, so I created a small card describing what my public talk was about and added a link. So if you have something like this, if you have articles or public talks, you can download them to your own personal YouTube channel and put a link here. And there's even a preview here. And this case, it's about design sprint. I wanted to show that I not only work within product companies, but I can organize some processes, and I know something about different fashionable frameworks like design sprints. And it's also good practice if you have some activities like this. Maybe you took part in some workshops, you can also write about it, because you can teach other designers in your future company to work with this framework, and it might help them to solve their problems more successfully. So it looks like this. It's again have some structure, and Notion lets you create any structure you like, because you can add any types of text and any types of media within this card. And there was also another type of other activities work. It was working with design system, and I described the processes I used to work on, and I described the processes between design and developers. And there are some images, but it's more about manager activities. So if you have managed any kind of processes within your company, maybe you improved some processes, write about it. It will be your superpower and your extra advantage as a designer, even if you're applying for a middle position. And it looks like this. I will share again the screen, this link with you, so you can observe it, and probably you will find something useful for yourself. And now I will show you how to create this kind of layout. Very simple. First of all, you have to create a page in Notion. It looks like this. You need to press this button plus, and you create this page. I personally prefer to, I'll do it like this. I personally prefer to create this thing with full width, because if you have a lot of different cases, you probably will need more space for describing these cases. So you have this empty page, and at the title place, you can type your name like this. It is really very simple. Then if you want to add some text about yourself, for example, for HR managers, you can do it, again, very simple, just pressing anywhere you like, and just start typing this text. For example, I'm middle product designer with 3 years of expertise. I currently work at, I don't know, at Amazon. Previously, I used to work at, and you can list the companies. You can make several lines. You can make this text more shorter or longer, just depends on your case. And we can take kind of this. I think we can also add some links. For example, you want to add your Facebook link. You can do it like this. You just type the text and insert the link, and we can do something like this. And you will go to your Facebook page. So you can create actually everything you want with this layout. And after that, oh my God, it's not very comfortable like this, but I'll try. After that, you can create gallery views, and it is what everyone, I suppose, everyone with Notion portfolio uses. This gallery view with new database. Don't think about it. It just works like this. And this is how you create a gallery with your projects. So this can be product tasks. And these are the pages I have shown you before. So this is the same gallery view as these gallery views are. So within this gallery view, you can create labels you need to describe your tasks. For example, you can, I will delete current properties and will add new properties. For example, you want to show platform you can work with. Probably you can, or there are even, probably you have worked with web or maybe mobile, so you can add properties like this, and it will help other people, your portfolio reviewers, understand that you can work with some tools or any kind of labels you would like to indicate. If you want to change the type of this label, you can do it like this. And there are a lot of different types. So, for example, let's do it. Platform 2. This type is multi-select, so you can create different options for it. For example, like this. If you want to change color, you can do it. So there are really a lot of types of creating settings for your Notion template. If you want to hide this property, You can do it just by setting these hide property settings. So if you don't want to show them outside, you can do it like this. After that, you can create a title for your task. For example, it is new feature implementation. It's not the best name for a task. I think you will need more details, but however, if you want to add a cover for your card, you can do it like this. So when you go to back to the gallery view, when it downloads, you will see that this color will be shown outside. Also, if you want to, if you don't want to put this cover at the very beginning of your case description, you can create this type of property, and you will download a picture inside this property. It's a little bit complicated, but I personally decided to do it this way for my portfolio. Maybe you will also need it. We delete this thing, and then you can go to your gallery view settings and also set them like this. It will be updated. Yes. So you can set, so you can create a lot of types of settings within Notion. And it's very easy to work with Notion. Sometimes it's not very intuitive, but you can read the article I have shared with you, and there are a lot of tips inside it if you want to create some difficult kind of layout within Notion. But probably the most important part is still creating the structure for your cases and for your portfolio. So I suggest creating the structure for your cases before writing tons of text about your cases. For example, for each case, you can first create the structure, problem, research, ideas, results. It can be transformed into headings of the sections. And only after you create the structure, you begin to fill it with actual content. For example, what can be a problem? It can be some money problem. For example, your company wants to earn some money, or they want to save some money, which they spend solving current problems. So it's good to show that at the very beginning of the task, you know that actually we're talking about money. Probably it is some user problem. By this, I mean NPS problems, maybe some service problems. You know that there is a lot of negative feedback, maybe bad reviews in App Store or kind of that. And you can think about problems in terms of these things, these parameters. Then when you talk about research, again, you can talk about any type of research you're providing. For example, you looked at the competitors, so you provided competitor analysis. maybe there were some statistics. Probably there were some CastDev interviews, and it is amazing if you talk to people, if you talk to your users, it's great. Write about it. Probably there was some feedback from your support team. It's not the same as CastDev, but it still shows that you think about users and you know that they give some feedback and you know a place where to get it. It is usually your support team. And you can also always write about user stories or job stories. If you don't have so much research experience and if you don't have a research laboratory in your company, you can always try to formulate user stories and job stories and use cases. So maybe some schemes. So your research part can always be filled with some type of information. Then when you go to the ideas part, you can show your UI, UX, first iterations. Well, in perfect life, in perfect world, it's great if you can talk about some tests with these first iterations. And in perfect words, the users, they really don't like your interface and they don't like your solution. So you get negative feedback and then you improve your current first iteration and get second iteration. So if you have negative feedback, it is great. You are very lucky. I really hope that you have this negative feedback while testing because it can show how you work with user feedbacks. And it really shows that you are a mature designer. And then you go to next iteration. Probably it is final iteration, maybe it's not final iteration, but it's a very good structure if you go from first iteration to next iteration with the help of tests. And then when you go to results part, you can tell about metrics, which you were talking about within this problem part. So if you were talking about the problem of the company wants to earn some money, here you have to say, my company earned this amount of money, or maybe not this amount of money, my company earned less money, and we're going to improve this feature in the future. It also will be okay. But it's very important that this real results part and problem part, they are connected with each other. So you talk about metrics and numbers and all things like this. And you also can talk about some personal conclusions. Maybe you were surprised by your users' behavior. Maybe you didn't think that they have user problems like this. Maybe you learned something new about your team. So it's great to write about all important and essential moments you learned while working within this task. And when you create the same structure for all of your tasks, it will be easier to put content inside of each of these parts. This is how it works in Notion. And after that, I would like also to talk about comparison with other instruments. I am a huge fan of Notion, but I understand that there are other amazing alternatives for creating your product design or design portfolio. And these are the alternatives I used to use in past. And I switched to Notion for some reasons, and I'm going to share my thoughts about it. So let's start with Figma Portfolio. Figma is a great tool for showing your layouts. You don't have to create any additional text and additional layouts and additional pictures. It's really great, but for me, it was difficult to add text and maintain storytelling in Figma. Figma has endless pages where you can put a lot of layouts. And for me, it was difficult to work with this kind of endless canvas. And also, Notion is a great tool if you want to work with text and if you want to describe your product ideas, the product process, if you want to describe how you used to work with design system or how you used to work with some kind of researchers, if you want to show your product interview scripts, for example. And in Figma, it's not so easy to do it. It doesn't have, well, this kind of great mobile version like Notion has, and you don't know how people will read your text. And for me, the text part was really important because I wanted to put emphasis on the fact that I'm the product designer. I'm not just a design. Well, I'm not a designer. I'm not a product designer. And text is a very helpful tool for showing it. And also Figma was not, and it's not the best place for presenting your public activities. If you want to talk about your conferences and articles, for me, it was not quite clear how I can do it with Figma, how I can show it with Figma, where should I put this link or text, or how I can do it. So Figma is a great tool for showing your layouts. It's a great tool for creating maybe some tests, some test layouts. If you have task at the company you are currently applying, it's a great tool, but it's not, for me, it wasn't a great tool to show everything about my product design career. Then I used to have a personal website portfolio for quite a long, and it was amazing, actually. I loved it so much. I spent so many nights making it better and creating animations for mobile version and creating grids and creating all these types of content. And it was really inspiring, but it was so time consuming. And if you are looking for a new job right now, if you want to focus on this job search process and not the process of improving your portfolio, probably supporting and working with your personal website is not an option for you. Of course, if you have free time and if you enjoy the process, personal websites can be your side project and it can be your favorite project. But well, I think it's great to be realistic and honest with yourself and understand how much time and how much effort you have now for supporting and updating your portfolio. So I don't say that personal website is bad. For me, it's the most beautiful and inspiring option. But in terms of looking for a new job, sometimes it just doesn't work. And my parents with Behance and Dribbble portfolio, I used to have Behance portfolio. It's okay, but again, it's difficult to update your cases, templates quickly and maintain storytelling. For me, Behance looks like a place where you create a separate template for each of your cases, and each of your cases is unique. And if you want to show your product design approach, and if you want to add some text to describe this approach, to describe not only layouts, but also the process and the researchers, Behance sometimes is not the best option. Then what I didn't like, the lack of product emphasis. I think Behance is more for brief description of your cases. So it's more about UI and it's less about researchers. So if you want to talk about researchers and how you can work with statistics and users interviews and user stories, probably Behance is not the best place for it. But again, it depends on you. And again, there was no place for presenting public activities. And when you become more mature, you want to show these public activities, if you want to apply for senior or lead grades, you want to talk about your conferences and about your workshops and other types of activities, and it's Behance is just not a place where you can do it. So my final choice was Notion, and I can say that I'm super happy with it. So if you want to try to work with Notion, I think you will also enjoy it. And this is all for today. I hope that it was helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can ask them. We have 5 minutes for questions. So if you have questions, I'm here. What if I don't have a quantitative results from my current company? What can I show in the results? I think you this is a question inside the chat, but it's a private question. Well, if you don't have results for your task, it doesn't mean that they don't exist. Probably your product manager knows these results, or other people in your company know the results, because they usually use some statistics, and they use some tools like Amplitude or kind of that, or Tableau. And I think that you can ask them, and they will probably not very happy to look for these results, but they probably have these results. If you can't find these results, for example, you used to work in a company 3 years ago and no one remembers these quantitative results, well, you can't do anything with it. Actually, it's impossible to improve the situation, but you can write about maybe about not quantitative results, but other types of results. As a first step, you can create the structure inside your mindset. So you will know that within each task, you have to ask your product manager, how much money are we going to earn, for example, or what are we going to change in terms of metrics. And if you have this habit at the very beginning of every task, you will have these results. So maybe you don't have these results for your all tasks, but you can try to implement new product approach within your current tasks. I think this is my answer. Yes, this session is already recorded, and I will send you an email with it, and an email with all these links I've shown you. And maybe if I remember some other links, I will also share it with you. And thank you. Yes, thank you. And about professional domain in Notion, I didn't experience any problems. There is a paid option and probably some free options where you can add. I will show you. If we go to browser, as you see, I don't have a beautiful domain within my Notion. Well, it looks like this, with a lot of numbers at the end. And I didn't experience any problems, actually. I was thinking about creating a beautiful domain, but I'm not looking for another job now, so I don't want to pay. But probably later I will pay for it because it looks nicer. However, I didn't experience any problems. It just depends on you. What if the product isn't launched yet? What results can we add? If it is not launched yet, we don't have results, actually. we have results only after users start using it. So if we don't have, if the product is not launched yet, probably the best option is to wait until it is launched to get some results. Or you can create a case which describes the beginning of the process. It will not have the results, but it can show maybe some interesting product approaches, maybe some interesting UX mechanics. So you can put emphasis on this part. However, if you want to apply for senior grades, you probably should show the results, because when you go to some company, when you come at some company as a senior product designer or as a lead product designer, people are actually waiting for some results for you. So they need to know that you used to have the results before. So I think you can wait. Yes, and thank you. Thank you also very much. I hope it will help you. For me, Notion was such a great tool. I was so happy when I switched from my personal website and when I just stopped creating all these animations for mobile versions and all these grids for mobile versions. I thought that I would drive crazy when it didn't work. And Notion works for mobile and you don't have to think about it. So I really hope that it will help you. I think this is all. Thank you, guys. And it's great that you took part in this workshop. If you have any questions, you can text me within ADP list, or you can add me at LinkedIn. I will share the link within an email I'll send you now. Yes, they're happy that you took part in this workshop and wish you best luck, best jobs, best days, best lives. So I think it's time to say goodbye. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.